My husband leaned in, placed a steady hand on my back, and whispered into my ear like he was complimenting my dress. "Get your bag, we're leaving, act like nothing's wrong." I thought he was being dramatic, maybe overwhelmed, too much family, too much noise, too many layers of politeness over old wounds. But when we reached the car and he locked the doors, when he looked me dead in the eye and said, "Something's very, very wrong," I felt my stomach drop. 5 minutes later, I was on the phone with the police. Let me back up. My mother and sister were hosting my grandfather's 90th birthday. Garden lights, table set with gold-rimmed plates, speeches prepared, a slideshow queued up on the patio projector. Everyone was there. Cousins, friends, people I hadn't seen in years. And for the first time in a while, it felt peaceful. Almost. Until it didn't. My husband, Ryan, had been quiet all evening. Observant, watchful. He never liked my sister much. Said she had a snake's smile. Too polished, too sweet. I used to laugh it off. We'd been married 10 years. Grew from nothing together. When I met him, I had 2 suitcases and a $100 savings bond. He had student debt and a busted Toyota. But we built a life, a home, a small business that took off in year 4 and never stopped growing. Everything we had, we made with our own hands, and we protected it with quiet diligence. We had rules, no family and finances, no shared passwords, trust but verify. We kept boundaries. But that night, at Grandpa's birthday, those lines had already been crossed. He showed me the first red flag while we sat at the table. Under the napkin, discreetly slid into my palm, a flash drive. He'd found it in our home office, inside the air vent. "I didn't put it there," he said. "Neither did you." He didn't need to say more. Only 2 people had been in that room without us, my mother and my sister. When I had emergency surgery 2 months ago, they stayed over, helped with meals, errands, things we were too tired to question. That's when they planted it. The drive had keyloggers, recording software, copies of bank statements. They were trying to siphon money, our money, through fake vendor accounts, slowly, quietly. Over $240,000 had already been moved, disguised through layered transfers. And I hadn't noticed. The worst part wasn't the theft. It was who did it. My sister, Lily, who I once gave my rent money to so she wouldn't lose her apartment. My mother, who held my hand when I miscarried. They called it borrowing. Ryan called it betrayal. I called it war. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I listened. Then I planned. First, we froze all joint accounts, changed passwords, transferred the business under a new entity. Next, I met with a lawyer, quietly, privately. We drew up a civil suit and filed a police report, but held it, just in case. Then we baited them. Ryan created a dummy financial folder, phony investments, fake passwords, planted documents, a perfect trap. And we waited. They took the bait within 2 days, downloaded everything, even tried to open a credit line in my name. Now we had digital proof, intent, and a pattern. Tonight was the final step. I didn't want the police to come to Grandpa's party. I wanted to leave first, cleanly, quietly, with grace. Because sometimes the best revenge is letting them wonder how much you know, until it's too late to undo it. Back in the car, Ryan drove us away while I made the call. "This is Detective Ramirez. What's your emergency?" "My family stole nearly $250,000 from me. I have the evidence and their current location." By morning, it was done. Police showed up at 6:15 a.m. They knocked. My sister answered in her robe. My mother stood behind her in shock. Devices were seized, warrants were served, accounts were frozen. I wasn't there to watch it. But Ryan was. He said Lily's face turned ghost white the moment they asked for the passwords. My mother kept whispering, "This is a mistake, this is a mistake." It wasn't. Later that afternoon, I received 3 calls from Lily, 5 from Mom. I didn't answer any of them. They weren't crying for forgiveness. They were scrambling. Because now their names were on fraud reports. Their savings under investigation. Their reputations shattered. I never wanted revenge, but I wasn't going to serve betrayal at my grandfather's birthday table and call it love. They thought I was soft, that being family gave them immunity. They forgot I spent years in silence, watching, learning. They thought I didn't know how to protect myself. They were wrong. I visited Grandpa the next day, brought him cake and tea. He didn't ask about Lily or my mom, just looked at me and said, "You always were the one with fire in your veins. Took after your grandmother." I smiled. Sometimes blood doesn't bind.